What's going on, guys? Princess Elliot back once again. So before we get this video properly started, spoilers for the film Venom coming up. So just don't click on this if you haven't seen it. I don't want any trouble with spoilers. I've warned you. So there. Right, so let's get into this. So Venom, critics said it was a bad film, doesn't deserve a sequel. It's 15 years too late with the CGI apparently, so we're talking like Phantom Menace era pretty much. You know, CGI, which it didn't have. They did really well. It wasn't a fantastic, amazing film, you know. We've obviously had better films this year, but it's definitely worth seeing. It was definitely one of those films that was in between. It wasn't Last Jedi bad, thank God for that, and it wasn't Infinity War amazing, which is not really, I don't think, what people was expecting out of this. They weren't expecting it to be, you know, an extravaganza film. I think it did it for me. Venom, they nailed him, pretty much. We actually got the Venom we wanted to see from Spider-Man 3. It was good. He was big. He had this, like, the deep voice. It was perfect. There was conversation between him and Eddie Brock and Eddie Brock's head. They nailed it, and I was so happy. They did really well on that, and I'm pretty happy with Sony at this point. They've done well. Hopefully, provided this all does well through the month, and, you know, in the cinema and things, we'll get a sequel. And the sequel is gonna, hopefully, when we get one, will contain my favourite symbiote, Carnage. So, at the end of Venom, the end credit scene, which I'm not mentioning the other end credit scene because it's Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and I hate Spider-Man. So, the first end credit scene is Eddie Brock going to a prison. He goes into the prison and he speaks to a sociopath called, well, I'm sure you know his name if you're a Marvel fan, so we'll be okay on that. But it's the host for Carnage, and Cletus Cassidy. Yeah, he's cool. I like him. And he goes in to speak to him. They're speaking, and it's Woody Harrelson playing him, which was pretty cool. I think he's going to suit the role perfectly. It's a bit weird seeing him with red curly hair, though. And the line it ends on is Cletus Cassidy saying, when I get out of here, and I will, it'll be Carnage. And it finishes. Credits, and I was like, I nearly jumped out of my chair at this point, because Carnage is my favourite symbiote. So all the reasons I wanted to watch this Venom film is for the fact of surely Carnage is shown at some point in some form of way, and they did it. Carnage himself wasn't shown, but the host is shown, meaning they've also got future plans if this film does well. Personally, I think it will do well. The critics think different, but I mean, forget the critics. I really couldn't care what they have to say. Most of the time when they say things, they're wrong when it comes to me. So I enjoy most of the films they say are terrible and things like that. It's like they said The Last Jedi was good. I didn't like that. So, I'm happy with this film, I really am. I enjoyed it. Venom got to bite off a few heads. It was brilliant. So Venom is PG-13, and apparently they cut 40 minutes to make it PG-13. So it was meant to be R-rated, they cut 40 minutes, and it becomes PG-13. So, we don't know if this is true yet or not, but apparently when the DVD comes out, we could get the R-rated version. But then there is also apparently the fact that directors are baffled by the fact that we thought there was an R-rated version. So, I don't really know what's going on that. But, you know, people have Facebook and things, you can keep up to date on that, see what's going on. But it was good. It's enjoyable. It was definitely one of the films that I was excited for this year, and it did me proud. I enjoyed it. Venom was funny as well. There was a bit of comedy in there, but the comedy was good. It wasn't too much. It wasn't overboard. It fit quite well into the film. The connection between Eddie Brock and Venom, my God, it was perfect. I loved it so much. Tom Hardy screamed like a little girl because he looked in the mirror and Venom's eyes appeared over his, like the whole face thing started to form, and he screamed and fell back into the bathtub. And he screamed like a little girl. It was pretty funny. But towards the end, like, at first Eddie Brock was like, oh, Jesus Christ, the hell is going on? You know, he was scared and wasn't really understanding of anything that was going on, and also was Venom bit off someone's head, he was like, oh my god, we just bit a guy's head off. By the end, they're definitely linked now. There's no escaping it. They're the perfect match. They've achieved the most brilliant symbiosis, as the Life Foundation would put it. Oh yeah, the Life Foundation. So, they're the main bad guys in Venom, run by some nut job, basically, who's taking homeless people off the streets, then try and connect them with the symbiotes. And it's really not working. Literally every other symbiote that came down died, besides Riot and Venom. Riot becomes... By the end, Riot is the main bad guy because he wants to bring down all the other symbiotes from the planet to take over Earth. But then Venom decides that he doesn't want to do that anymore. Venom decides that he actually kind of likes Earth. And he wants to stay. So him and when he's connected to Eddie Brock, they go and fight Riot, who's connected to Drake, which is the bad guy, who runs the Life Foundation. Bit of a short fight, but Riot is definitely better than Venom. But I guess since it's Venom's film, he has to win. But Riot's definitely better and stuff like that. Venom admits to being the loser of his planet and his species and things. You know, he's quite the low-down symbiote. So, poor him. But he wins. He does as... They really did him justice, I think, this time. They did him well. Hopefully, we can only hope that they might bring Venom into the MCU. I would be very happy with that. This Venom's good. The person playing him is good. Bringing him to the MCU would work so well. I mean, I really don't like Spider-Man. I don't like the new Spider-Man. I don't get on with the film Homecoming or anything. But I'd be willing to watch Spider-Man if they managed to bring Venom into the MCU. Definitely. But the film, go watch it, honestly. The film's worth watching. It's enjoyable. There's a bit of comedy there, so it's not a completely, like, miserable, dark film because Venom's killing people. There's obviously a bit of a love story because all films have some love story type thing in it nowadays. Well, they have for literally ever. But it was fun. It was cool. It's a bit, obviously, violent because it's Venom, you know, Riot, and there's this really cool scene where Riot and Venom have a fight, but they, like, disconnect, sort of, like, expand out, and have a fight by themselves as the hosts are still there. They're still connected to their hosts, but they're fighting. It's kind of hard to explain, but it is really cool. And, I mean, they did really well with the CGI, I reckon, because symbiotes are technically a solid, but they needed them to flow like a liquid, and that's a difficult thing to do, considering solids aren't meant to flow. It's not a thing they can do, unless, you know, it's something like metal, which even then you have to melt and it becomes a liquid. So, they did really well on that. It obviously could have been better, but that's a difficult job to do, to get a solid to flow like they did. It worked really well. They kept the same, like, story type thing, so sound over a certain amount of hertz will definitely do in a symbiote. It'll disconnect them from the host, and also, a symbiote can't survive without a host, it seems, or if they're in, like, some containment, because once they're in the oxygen atmosphere, like ours on Earth, they can't survive, so they need a host, which is how the other symbiotes died, because the Life Foundation was crap at literally everything they did. They were terrible. But that'll be it for now, guys. Go watch it, enjoy it, and when you do see it, comment on this video. Let me... When you've seen it, you know, I won't mind comments. Let me know what you think of it and all that sort of stuff. But it's enjoyable. There's the comedy. I get along with it really well. My friends enjoyed it. It was fun. That'll be all for now, guys. So I'll join you next time whenever I decide to do a video. I know my videos, I haven't done one in ages, but I'll get another one up. I'll do like a collab with someone, or someone will find someone new to put in my video. But I should have, as well, a solo review coming once I get a friend round who wants